solving our questions. Let's ignore this. I've actually added directions to every question, and therefore I think those directions will suffice. So let us start our work. Question 1. Select the most appropriate synonym of the given word. So I will show you the question, after which I will start the clock, and for each one of these questions I'll give you 20 seconds to solve these. Right? So I think for a synonym antonym based question, 20 seconds are like fair enough. So there you go. The question, and your time starts now. All right, so the time is up, and that basically means that now we dive into the questions. So first up, let us look at the word that is given to us. The word is peccant. Basically means somebody who has committed a sin. Somebody who has done something that is wrong. Somebody who is in the wrong, essentially. So if you look at the meanings of all of these other words that are given to you here, what is exuberance? Exuberance is when you are somebody like Ranveer Singh, full of energy, excitement, cheerfulness. Here is a synonym that I can give for this, and the synonym is ebullience. So full of energy, excitement, cheer. Then you have virtuous. Virtuous is a person who has high moral standards. And now we come to the next word, C. First up, the pronunciation. The C in this word is silent. So you pronounce it as indictable. So I've heard a lot of people pronounce this as indict, which is wrong. Indict, indictment, etc. No, the C is silent. So it is indict, indictment, indictable. So anybody who is indictable is liable to be charged with crime. Okay, and then the last word that you have is souvenir. Souvenir is a thing that you keep with yourself as a reminder of a person, a place, an event. Memorabilia is another word that we use for souvenir. So peccant is somebody who has done something wrong. Out of these four, is there any other word that talks about somebody who has done something wrong? I'd say yes, and that word is, as a lot of you have, or some of you, I shouldn't even say a lot of you, because you guys aren't really being very charitable with sharing your answers today. But then yes, quite a few of you have gone on to write this. What's wrong? What is this? I seem to have some issue with the slide. Anyhow, so coming back to this, so the closest that we have is indictable, and that is why the answer absolutely is C. Then Agastya. A lot, Agastya, a lot, of course, because at the end of the day, see, irrespective of which exam you sit for, in India, most of the aptitude exams happen to have more or less the same set of syllabus. So if you've prepared for Indian B school exams, you've actually prepared very well. Now, all that is needed is to tweak your test taking strategy a little, realize which areas to focus more on or less on, and then that should generally be good enough. Anyhow, so that's question number 1. Here is question number 2 on the screen. Once again, you are supposed to share the synonym of the word that is thrift, and your time starts now. Okay, so what is the meaning of the word thrift? So thrift essentially means being very is careful use of your money or other resources. Okay, careful use of money or other resources. Now profligacy is actually the antonym. A lot of you have anyway gotten this right, so I've gotten C and D, so I'll focus more on those. So profligacy is wastefulness in the use of resources. Squander once again means to waste opportunities by not taking advantage of those. Then you have opulent. Opulent means costly or luxurious. For example, if you look at this, I would call this an opulent living room. And then frugality essentially once again means being very economical with money, resources, food, whatever, right? So very clearly D is the closest one, and that is why our answer to question number 2 should be option D. And here is the third one, but this time around I am asking you for the antonym. I know you're smart, I shouldn't announce it, but then I'm still highlighting it. So give me the antonym of the following word, and the clock is ticking. Honestly, I don't hold it against those individuals, but yeah, you're right. Quant questions are a lot easier. Grammar questions are significantly more, I would say, what, formula centric in a way. So yeah, I understand where you are really coming from. Yeah. Okay, so coming back to this, now most of us know about vanilla as a flavor, mostly of an ice cream. But then, uh, one of the meanings of vanilla is something that is ordinary, standard, plain. So I'd say ordinary, plain, something that has no extra features. Okay, these kind of things. So that's vanilla. So uh, what is A? Beige. Beige is a color, and in order to describe a color, I think it'll be a better idea to show it to you. There you go. So this particular color is known as beige, right? And then of course beige also has this meaning where it says it is that you're conservative, dependable, those kind of things. Then you have this word called folksy. So you know what it comes from? Folk, traditional culture, customs. So anything that has the characteristics of traditional cultures, traditional customs can be termed folksy, especially if it makes it look a little artificial, forced, contrived. Okay, so that's folksy. But then it is not always a negative word. Then you have C, banal. Banal is something that is lacking in originality, something that is boring, not creative. So far, have you managed to find the antonym? Beige, folksy, banal. I think banal will be more of a synonym. Beige and folksy are not connected. Now we are basically left with what? Left field. What is left field? Left field is a surprising or unconventional style. You can in fact use words like unexpected or odd for it. So if you say that someone or something has come out of left field or is out in left field, you mean that they are not typical, okay? They are unusual or strange. So, for example, a lot of people who wrote the cat came out and like, yeah, sir, the quant was weird. So you can say the quant came out of left field. But then our faculty members were not really surprised because we stay prepared for those surprises, right? So that's left field. So I think if we have to look something or look for something which is farthest, left field is going to be the best one. Vanilla is ordinary, no extra features, standard, whereas left field is non-standard, unusual, atypical, and that makes it the best antonym. Don't worry, Agastya, I'll hold on to my age. In another few years, when you gain some more years, we can be partners in crime then. Okay, here is the next one. So once again, you're supposed to give me the antonym of volition. The clock is ticking. I have tried to pick up all the high frequency words for this. All right, so now that the 20 seconds are up, let's go ahead and start looking at this. Volition means the power to make your own decisions. The power to take your own decisions, right? And I straight away see this word in option. Hang on, you're looking for antonym. Willful means anything which is intentional, deliberate. So you notice willful defaulters, they intentionally default on their loan payments. So A is definitely not an antonym. It is going to be more of a synonym, right? The power rests with you. Violence we all know, so I don't need to talk about this. Disposition basically means somebody's temperament, nature. So you know, some people have this sunny disposition. They make your day bright, and then there are some people who have this cloudy disposition. Okay, and then compulsion basically means you are forced to do something. You don't have a choice. So volition is choice, compulsion is no choice. So when it comes to antonym, I think we shouldn't even pause before we choose compulsion as an answer. Okay, here is the next one. So once again, you are supposed to give me the antonym of tawdry, and your time starts now. So tawdry, you know, there are some clothes that are very blingy, very showy, but then you know that they are of they're cheap and poor quality. Okay, so pretty blingy and showy, but cheap and of poor quality. So that is tawdry for you. Then you have this word called garish. I think the Hindi word for garish is actually bhadkila. So if I were to look for, if I were to describe it, I will say it is something that is unpleasantly bright. And then you have meretricious. Meretricious is something that is superficially attractive, but it has no real value. So I generally look at these influencers, not all of them, but then there are some influencers who can be called meretricious. Superficially they look great, but then what they offer has very little substance. And then you have sophisticated. So I think most of you have already chosen the right answer, so I won't even talk about it. Animosity is hatred, strong dislike. Animosity is what Ranbir Kapoor has is trying to portray in the trailer of Animal. Okay, so that's tawdry for you. So garish and meretricious are more of synonyms. Sophisticated is an antonym. Animosity is not related to tawdry. And with that, let's dive into our next question type. So in the first 5 questions, I asked you for the synonyms or the antonyms. But now, question number 6 is going to be more of a one-word substitution question. One-word substitution. So, here is a group of words: a sudden rush of large number of frightened people or animals. You have some options. Tell me which word means this. So the right answer should be Nidhi and Prasanna have shared. In fact, all of you have shared the right answer. It is indeed called stampede. What is the meaning of recluse? Anybody? Would you like to give this a shot? Who is a recluse? Hmm. Recluse is somebody who lives in solitude, somebody who lives alone, somebody who lives cut off from the world, who does not obviously like to mingle or interact with others. So yeah, that's recluse for you. What is the meaning of a scapegoat? Someone who is blamed or punished for the errors of others. So somebody else made a mistake, but this is the guy to whom blame was transferred so that the actual individual escapes. And then lunacy is insanity, pagalpan. It's an obsolete term for legal insanity, basically. We still use lunatics, etc. occasionally in formal language, though. Okay, then let's go ahead and talk about our next question. Once again, a one-word substitution. Here it is. Ah, Prarthana, absolutely. Bali ka bakra is the pretty close to scapegoat. Vishal, bakra banana will be different. Bakra is more of pranking somebody. Okay, the correct answer for question number 7 is option D and not option C. So Abhirami, that's absolutely spot on. Atashi, Atashi, that's correct. And then thereafter we are getting Swapnil, Manisha, Nidhi, absolutely correct. So now you know what harangue is. Okay, a lot of us chose prologue, but prologue is an introduction to a play or a book. So prologue is a speech that comes before the actual part or the actual play, actual book starts. So that's prologue. It's not a long and aggressive speech. It can be long, but it is not aggressive. Then eloquence is powerful and effective language, to speak in a very nice, commanding, authoritative way. Somebody who's an excellent speaker, excellent communicator will be called eloquent. And harangue, is long and aggressive speech. If I were to throw in some synonyms, I would say a loud, bombastic declamation that is expressed with strong emotion. Okay, so that's harangue for you. And here is the next question. Sorry, I forgot to turn on the timer for this. Damn, it's all right. Okay, so here is question number 8. Select the wrongly spelt word. Here are the words, and your time starts now. Arey Anisha, I realized it late, man. I don't use it very regularly, so I have to kind of pay attention to it. So which one of these is wrongly spelled? Okay, Bhakti, Nidhi, Ishita, Manisha. Okay, all of you so far think it is A, and that's actually correct. So the right spelling will be double L. So this is what was missing from the word. Okay, then you have hierarchy. Hierarchy is ranking. Liaison means a relationship between two organizations or two different departments. So a liaison officer is basically somebody who manages that relationship. Questionnaire is just a set of questions. Okay, taking you over to the next question. Once again, choose the wrongly spelt word. Here are the 4 words, and the clock starts now. Vishal, C was correctly spelled. Nothing wrong with there. That's the actual spelling. Yeah. Oops, I think the clock is. I just went back to look at 8th question and the clock stopped. So you guys are getting a few extra seconds. The right answer is D. Catastrophe does not have a Y at the end. It actually has an E at the end. All the other words are correct. Aesthetic is anything that is concerned with the beauty or the appreciation of beauty. Okay. It obviously has some other meanings too, but that's the primary one. Then ingenious is somebody who's very clever, resourceful, inventive. The Hindi word for ingenious will be jugadu. Then equivocal is a person who is speaking in a very ambiguous manner. What he says is not very clear. So ambiguous, uncertain, something that can be interpreted in multiple ways. And catastrophe is catastrophe. Major negative event is called a catastrophe. Right? So the answer here was, just to wrap it up, D. And with that, let me take you over to your 10th question. The last one where we talk about spellings. So here it is, and your time starts now. So, answer A is correct. I know, I very deliberately set this trap for you. So, you remember we have this word called advice with a C. This is a noun, but advice with an S is also correct. That is a verb. Similarly, normally prophecy, when you see it, you You notice the spelling has a C, but that prophecy with a C is a noun. When you want to use it as a verb, you use an S. So prophecy, A, the verb form will be to say that something will happen in future. So to prophecy is to predict something or to utter something inspired by one's God. This is absolutely correct. The wrong spelling is in the second word. You need one more M there. So accommodation actually has two M's and two C's. So just add one more M and that becomes all right, and that is why our answer should be B. Umbilical, remember umbilical cord? So umbilical as an adjective means extremely close, inseparable. And all of us know what miscellaneous is, so I won't bore you with that, but let me take you over into your next question. Question number 11 is a fill in the blank question, and because fill in the blank questions can take longer, I won't have a timer, but I will just wait for some people to give me the answer. Once I have 5, 6, 7 answers, we'll go ahead and start working on it. So what's your take? Go ahead, shoot. Okay, so I do see some answers. Oh, so I'm getting A, B, D. Man, that's a lot of difference. Okay, so let us see. Most of the energy hauled up by our brain is dash to enabling neurons in the brain to communicate with each other. Okay, what is the meaning of induced? Induced means to cause or bring about. For example, we say that the bowler induced the batsman into making a mistake. So, the bowler caused that mistake or led the batsman into making that particular mistake. So, can induced go there? Most of the energy is induced to enabling neurons. No. That in fact, even the preposition to won't work. So, A can be ruled out. Most of the energy is devoted to enabling neurons. In terms of meaning, this can still work. Most of the energy is divulged. Divulge basically means to reveal a secret. So to reveal something that was hidden. Won't work, can be ruled out. Most of the energy is engulfed, and can we use to after engulfed? Engulf means to immerse, to swallow up, to surround completely. So I think even grammatically this won't work. So the only option that works in terms of meaning and grammar both is B, and therefore that should be the answer. So most of the energy held up by our brain is devoted to enabling neurons in the brain to communicate with each other. So that works. B it is. And here is the next question. Another fill in the blank question on the screen. So read this carefully and then give me the answer. Tarun, you said no to what? There you go. Where has Nikita Gupta ma'am gone? She has gone to the UK, Scotland to be precise. So I hope. You want to interact with her? I can ask her to join us some weekend when she's free. Okay, 12th. Abhinami, just take a call. Think. Okay. So I think the most important thing in question number 12 is the first sentence. The teacher did not believe the student's excuse that the dog ate his homework. So the student was not carrying his homework. When asked where your homework is, he's like, the dog ate it. Now, you and I can at times struggle to understand it, but then in the British culture, it's very common for people to have pets, especially dogs. Okay, so that may work here. So she accused the student of what? So the teacher says that the student said dog ate his homework. The teacher did not believe it. So can I say that the teacher is accusing student of cooking up an excuse? Lying? You did not do your homework, now you're just blaming the dog, you're lying about it. So can A work? You cannot accuse anyone of explanation. So let's rule it out. What is fabrication? What's the meaning of fabrication? Fabrication is a falsehood, a fake excuse, etc. So B is pretty close. What is rationalization? Rationalization is when you try to make something consistent with reason. Okay, I don't know whether you watched it. There's this very popular TV show called House MD, where the central character, a certain Dr. House, tried to rationalize everything, tried to explain everything with reasons. But the student is not using reasons here. He's just outright cooking up a story. So rationalization won't work. And what is ambivalence? Ambivalence is indecision. When you have two opposite feelings at the same time and you're not able to make up your mind, to go watch a movie or not. On one hand you want to, on the other hand you should not. So you're torn between those two opposite choices. So the student is not ambivalent here. He's rather straightforward. He's saying the dog ate his homework. So won't work. So herein, I hope I am pronouncing it right. I haven't even heard such a name before, but it rolls off the tongue very nicely. Herein, fabrication, I've just written it here. And that's just one of the meanings. Let's not forget that a word can have multiple meanings. Okay. And after question number 12, let me focus a little on grammar. So I'll give you a sentence, then I'll pick up some segments from that sentence. If any of those segments happens to have volume, let me check now if it is a problem. I'm checking it. Some of you may hear an echo. Please don't mind it. And after question number 12, you're right. It is a little muffled. Let me check if I can fix it. Let me see what's happening here. I'm surprised because this is at its maximum setting, and at its maximum setting it does not do that. It definitely usually punches out something a lot higher, but today I think it is a little on the lower side. I know, yeah, I think I'd have to look at it after the class. It will require some technical tinkering, so maybe a little nigh. So just make do with it. It's not that the volume is very less, but yeah, it can definitely do with that. I'll have to go ahead and look at it. On the other hand, I can try changing. Okay, how's it now? Is it any better? I will also check it at my end in a while, but you also can go ahead and give me that feedback if it's all right. Okay, so here you go. The question, if any of the A, B or C, these three segments has an error, choose that as your answer. If there is no error, please go ahead and choose D as your आंसर. ऋतिक अब तो एनमेट जितना कर सकता कर ले, बट एटलीस्ट 3-4 तो करना चाहिए यार. Okay, that's definitely better. Okay. So what's your answer for question number 13? Vishal, bonus marks for you. So you guys are absolutely right. The correct answer is A. It should not be it was me. It should be it was I. So what is the difference between I and me? I acts as a subject in the sentence, whereas me acts as an object in a sentence. So what exactly is an object? An object is a noun or a pronoun. I'm giving you a very crude definition for the time being, okay? That comes after a transitive verb or a preposition. So even if you can keep this in mind, most of your subject versus object issues will be resolved. So whenever you use an object, okay, for example, if I say talk to me, so you notice me has this to, a preposition before it, so it is an object of the preposition. Or if I say you saw me in your balcony yesterday, then you notice me has a transitive verb coming before it. So me is the object of the verb in the second sentence. So in this sentence that I gave to you, you need to have either a transitive verb or a preposition before it. But then what do I see? I see a pronoun. I see a helping verb. Man, there is no preposition, there is no transitive verb. So it cannot be an object. What is it going to be an object of? And therefore, you cannot use me here. It has to be I. Of course, in our day-to-day life, when we talk, we use this structure a lot. We use me a lot, but it is incorrect. And let me give you a very concise rule-based approach to this. Whenever you see a sentence that has it is, it was, it will be. It is, it was, it will be, and there is a pronoun coming immediately after. That pronoun will never be an object. That pronoun will always be the subject. So it is I, it is we, it is I, it was I, it will be I. Okay, so you can keep this in mind. Was, Kashvi, was is an auxiliary verb. It's a helping verb. Only the main verbs can be transitive or intransitive. Okay, state of being and verbs that show state of being, which we typically know as helping verbs, or modals. They are not transitive, intransitive. Okay. अंकित दो कैटेगरी तो दे आई एंड आई एम मतलब आई इज अ प्रोनाउन आई एम लगाया तो साथ में वर्ब लगाया okay then is CMAT VRC absolutely yes Weber very similar if you're preparing for snap you should be very well prepared for CMAT okay here is the next one question number 14 on your screen go ahead and share your answer Weber हाँ अच्छा I just read that a little late but yeah I hope I've answered that by now और ऐसे मत बोला करो यार आंसर माय कमेंट वो दोबारा से कमेंट पोस्ट कर दिया कर यार मुझे ढूंढना पड़ता है नहीं तो बहुत बार पीछे जा जा कर स्क्वाड okay so I'm getting a lot of B's bonus marks for telling me the error with B in case it is with B When you tell me what the error, then at least it makes me more precise in my explanations, you know. But yeah, all of you have managed to get this right. You don't use in search for, you are in search of your soulmate. And these guys were in search of oil deposits. The arranged over was all right. So the problem was, yes, with the preposition, but as a lot of you already shared, off. And here is the next one. Man, so many of you have actually managed to give me the correct explanation too. यार मतलब बताना भी नहीं पड़ रहा कितने अच्छे लोग हो यार तुम. Amazing, fabulous. Zilani, you are a good student, so yes, definitely true for you. But then you're not searching for it. You're not in search of a good B school. You found that B school. You're just looking for ways to get into that B school now. Okay, loads and loads of answers. But so far, no right answer. The correct answer is there is no error. This sentence is absolutely all right. So there is something called conditional sentences. In short, we call them conditionals. And there are three types of conditional sentences. Okay, conditional one is where if you fulfill the condition, the outcome is guaranteed. So in such sentences, after if we use, uh, let me just erase this. So conditional one, after if we use simple present tense, and then in the other part we use simple future tense. Okay, so that's correct. Then second conditional is where after if we use simple past. There is a variation of it as well, but more on that some other day. And the other clause typically uses something called a conditional past. So what is a conditional past? You'd use would, could, should, or might along with the first form of the verb. And conditional three is where you use past perfect in the clause that contains the if, and the other clause uses something called conditional perfect. Conditional perfect typically uses would, could, should, or might, followed by have, and then the third form of the verb. So, and then there is one pseudo conditional where you use simple present on both the sides. So, conditional, and I'll quickly tell you the differences. Okay, conditional one, when the outcome is guaranteed. Okay, if you fulfill the condition, the outcome will definitely come. So, for example, if it rains, I will call you and we'll plan to go out and have some fritters. पकौड़े खाएंगे जाकर. हाँ. Conditional two is where the outcome is not guaranteed. Okay, even if the other person fulfills the condition, we may not, the outcome may not happen. So, for example, I say if you applied to some college, you could get through. So you notice simple past, conditional past. This is legit. Nothing wrong with it. And conditional 3 is used when the time to fulfill that condition is gone and now you're just looking at it hypothetically. You know, kash wale, only if type ke. Agar ye kar liya hota na, if I had studied harder, I could have scored better marks. That kinds, right? So now if I look at the sentence in question, I see if she left now. That is simple past, second form of the verb. And here I see would reach. This is conditional past. So this is essentially the second type of conditional sentence. So this is all right. There is nothing wrong here. Now, if you change this left to leaves, then you need to change this would to will. हाँ, leaves absolutely समझ. Leaves आया तो would की जगह पे will लगाना पड़ेगा. तो दोनों चीजें सही करनी पड़ेंगी. So actually, if she leaves now, she will reach station on time. If she left now, she would reach. If she had left earlier, she would have reached the station on time. उस केस में तो हम now भी use नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि now तो past के लिए आ नहीं पाए. So there are very few areas in English where I can give you a formula. Conditional sentences is one such area. So in case you got this question wrong, in case you could not see that the sentence is all right, now you know. You just need to go back and study conditional sentences. If you are not very comfortable with them still, let me know and I can go ahead and take a session on this. Okay, it's a fairly important bit for us. So that's what I had brought for you. If you enjoyed working with me, don't forget to like the session and do make sure that you truly understand things. Okay, because any fool can know